this is going to be the start of this weekly vlog, and I am prioritizing sapphic romance this week. Yep, that's what I'm doing. Sapphic romance is my vibe for the week. I'm so excited, and we are going to do these. So, let's start with the one that I'm most excited about, that I'm going to start first. Definitely, no matter what, is How to Excavate a Heart by Maia Arlow. So this is about two girls. One of them is a student who's supposed to be focusing on her internship for, I don't know how to say it, but she studies dead fish and fossils. And she ends up running another girl over with her mom's Subaru. And they start to kind of get into a relationship a little bit, like fall for each other, and they get snowed in together on Christmas Eve. So that's all about them, and I'm so excited for it. Little corgi, little baby. I'm so excited. So that one's my number one priority for this week, the one that I am most excited about. After that comes Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail by Ashley Herring Blake, which is the second book from after Delilah Green Doesn't Care, which was one of my favorite romance books of the year. So we're going to do this one next. This is about Delilah's stepsister, Astrid, and she broke up with her fiance and ends up in this situation. So the inn owner in town wants Astrid's help to redesign this historic inn that she's owned forever for an HGTV TV show. And the project manager, general contractor, is this woman's granddaughter. And it's their little romance. Look at how cute. Look at how irritated Astrid looks in comparison. She's just like, I don't care. So I'm really excited about this. I really like Ashley Herring Blake's writing style and the way that she builds characters and the way that she builds relationships. And then our final one is, if I have time, I will get to One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. Now this one's a chunky one. This one's like 400 pages. This is about two girls who meet on a train in the subway system in New York City. I don't really know much about this besides the fact that they're meeting on this train. I know that people, generally speaking, have been disappointed in this for the most part, but I really liked Casey McQuiston's Red, White, and Royal Blue. And also, this is blurbed by Helen Hoang, who is the author of the Kiss Quotient series, which is one of my all-time favorite romance series. So if I get to it, I get to it. I'm going to truly savor a beautiful week of sapphic romance, and I couldn't be any happier about it. So let's get started. So, ignore the fact that I look exhausted. I just got out of work, but I wanted to do a quick update on How to Excavate a Heart. And right now, it's Wednesday. I started reading this on Monday, and I'm 102 pages in, about to start a new chapter called Gory Details About This Guy's Ass. And I am lightly tabbing it. I'm not finding like that much to tab right now, but I think it's sweet so far. So this is about Shawnee, who is going to DC over her winter break. She's a freshman in college, and she's going to DC to be an intern at the Smithsonian studying fossils of fish. And her and her mom are driving down to DC from New York City, and they almost hit another girl. Her name is May. We find that out after. They almost hit her with their car. And Johnny likes to say they bumped her. They hit her with their car. I mean, like, a bump is still a hit. So, just putting that out there. And immediately, despite the fact that Shawnee and her mom have bumped this girl in the car, hit her with their car. She is a little baby gay and is kind of immediately a little bit infatuated with her. She's lovesick, and like maybe like a week or two ago, her girlfriend at college and her broke up after they had physical relations for like the first time. We don't have any more details about that. We just know that that's like a catalytic event, a catalyst event. And then when Shawnee gets dropped off at the house that she's staying at, one of her roommates asks her holiday break, it's almost Christmas, to fill in for her as a dog sitter for this cute little corgi for the local weatherman. So Shawnee says yes, and guess whose dog it is? It is the girl that she bumped and hit with her car, her father's dog. So at this point, they're starting to get to know each other. They're getting a tiny bit emotionally involved. May is like a snarky, like little asshole, and I kind of love her. But so far, it's cute. I think that it's kind of funny. Like, Shawnee definitely gives off the new woke teenager kind of vibe. Like, she's only 18, and she's just kind of learning about the world and, you know, learning about how museums are actually really harmful a lot of the time, and her take on Hanukkah is really funny to me. It's one that I've never heard before. It's just she was basically just like, no, I don't want to participate because it's just like another capitalist scheme to involve us, like, as a direct correlation between Christmas, and it's not even like a real important holiday to us. And then you've got May, who is also Jewish, and she's like, no, I like it, it's fun, it's sweet. So I'm not Jewish in any capacity, so I can't tell you if this is good Jewish rep, but I can say that I think that they're cute together, and I think that seeing the two different, like, viewpoints on, like, holidays and thought processes and all of that fun stuff is really interesting for me as a non-Jewish person. I don't know if this author is Jewish or not, but so far it's really good. I really like it. I will kind of update as I go, I think, but I'm hoping to finish it soon, because right now we're not at the point where it's like cute romantic. We're at the point where it's just kind of fun, and Shawnee's kind of funny, and I just enjoy the gay angst, but also like the nerdiness. So there we are. Hello. So it's Thursday, and it's like 4:45 after work, and I wanted to give you an update on how to excavate a heart. I got through like another 100 pages yesterday, so I'm at page 208 now. So we had our cute scene. So May and Shawnee kind of had their moment together. This is not a spoiler, this is in the description of it, whatever. They had their lock-in at Christmas moment, and it was really cute. It was kind of exactly what I would want for this kind of story. Like, this is not like a, oh my god, there's only one bed kind of moment. It's more of a like, oh, that's so sweet, and you guys are such little babies. And they're both in college. They're both like in college, so like they're technically adults, but like they're just little babies. And like, this isn't like hot or anything. This is just cute and sweet. And this stupid little corgi is everything. So, and now we've started to hit like the drama point. So I'm kind of interested to see where we go from there, because Shawnee's kind of making it like seem like an end of the world moment, and she's analyzing like her interactions with other people and how she generally functions as a unit with someone else and not independently. So I enjoy the self-analyzation, I enjoy the tidbits of romance that are being sprinkled in, the budding romance. Overall, enjoying it. Very cute, very sweet. Gonna keep reading. Okay, hello. I wanted to talk a little bit about where I'm at with my reading. So, last night I finished How to Excavate a Heart, and let me just start out by saying that I'm giving this like a really solid 4 stars. There are a lot of things that I really loved about it. There are a lot of things that I don't want to say, well, there are a couple things that I don't want to say that I hated. I saw the purpose for them, but I don't want to say that I enjoyed reading those portions of it. So I do want to put out a blanket statement there that this book does have, I would include a trigger warning for sexual assault, which was super unexpected. Now, looking back on it, there were definitely hints about it, and it was definitely a thought process that had crossed my mind, but the energy and the attitude of this book didn't lead me to that conclusion, going in that direction. So I would say trigger warning for sexual assault, and I would say emotionally abusive relationships. Now, neither are described in great detail. You know, I think that both topics were handled well, in the fact that they were brought up, but there were no gory details. There was nothing that really made it like graphic and horrible to read, like sentence-wise. But, you know, I just want to put that out there, because you're going through this, and then you're like 300 pages and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Where did this come from? This was supposed to be like a very cute little romantic comedy kind of vibe, with like with 2 absolute nerds. Because you've got Shawnee, who studies fish, like dead fish and fossils, and that's her entire internship. And then you've got May, who is going to college to study the weather. So you've got like these 2 nerds, and then all of a sudden it's just like, bam, trauma. Unprocessed trauma is that, at that, like entirely unprocessed. So I do want to put that out there. But let's talk about a couple of things that I really enjoyed about this. This was funny. I don't want to say that I laughed out loud. I don't often laugh out loud. But I will say that Shawnee, that one right there, she's funny. She's funny, and I enjoyed her. And I know she's just a little 18-year-old little woke lesbian baby. But I thought she was funny. I thought that her interactions and her relationship with May was adorable, and I thought that their dialogue was really funny. So I enjoyed them. Like, this book definitely didn't take itself too seriously in any capacity, which I really enjoyed. I thought the stupid corgi was the most adorable thing in my entire life. And I'm just sitting here like, wow, you've got, in this book, like the super adorable derpy corgi, and I have my corgi, who is just a little chaos demon. Oh, my bobs. Hi. You look so perfect. chaos demon. So I will say that I really enjoyed those things about it. And I also enjoyed the way the character development of Shawnee, specifically. Like, Shawnee as a character was so well developed throughout this, but I think that my biggest issue was the fact that at the end, they're just like, let's take everything slow. And then they proceed to not take things slow. Not in the slightest. Why did you say that you wanted to take things slow if you're not going to take things slow? I don't understand. And honestly, I think that aspect of it is a lot of the reason that it was a 4-star for me. You know, there are obviously some other reasons. Like, this wasn't like the most beautiful masterpiece to ever walk the earth. It was fun. It was funny. It was cute. It was easy to read. It was adorable. Like, look at that. Look at that. Look at his little snow booties. Like, but I just think that we kind of got to the end and we had this point of like, let's take things slow, let me kind of learn to be my own person, and I feel like it was kind of backtracked a little bit through some of their actions of taking it slow, and I understand that that might have been like a more realistic thing. Like, you got 2 18-year-old like new little baby lesbians, and they're just feeling the vibe so hard, but like, I just wanted them to make better choices. And that's not to say that choosing each other is not the better choice. I just wanted them to learn their lesson and follow their initial gut reaction of, let's take things slow, let's figure things out. Some really horrible things have happened. Let's just kind of come together at a very slow pace. Now, let's kind of discuss where I went after, because instead of being good and staying on my TBR and reading Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail, I might have moved on to something else. So instead of moving on to Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail, I actually started A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall, and I'm about 10% of the way into that. So, originally this was supposed to be like a straight like woman-on-woman romance vlog. It's not anymore. Now it's a queer romance vlog, because Lady for a Duke is about a trans lady in the 1800s. I've had this waiting for me on my Libby app for like 3 months. So it came in, and I'm just like, well, I have to read it. I have to. I have no other choice. I've been waiting for it, and there are still 5 people waiting in line behind me. I have to read it. Like, or else I'm gonna have to wait another 2 to 3 months. So this is about, from what I understand, a trans woman in the 1800s. She faked her death in the war so she could stop living life in the eyes of society as a man, and she became her authentic self and is now like a lady's maid for her sister-in-law. But her childhood best friend, I think his last name's Gracewood, has sunk into like a hardcore deep depression and is going a little bit crazy since the death of his best friend. So her sister-in-law and Viola end up going to his mansion to see what's up, because his sister sent him messages like she's a gothic heroine and he is like the brooding monster. So I am going to continue on with that. So we'll see how it goes. Hello. So I did not do a good job of checking in while reading A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall, but I did manage to finish that last night. Now, A Lady for a Duke is a historical trans romance, and it's almost 500 pages. It's 480 pages. And this is hardcore marketed as something that if you like Bridgerton, you'll like this. Now, I can't tell you if I like Bridgerton or not because I've never watched it. Because I have a hard time with TV. So, if you like Bridgerton, maybe you'll like this. So I think it's set in like 1818, and it's about Viola Carroll and her lifelong childhood friend, Justin Gracewood. So Viola grew up with society seeing her as a man, and she was best friends with Gracewood. And then Gracewood convinced Viola to go to war with him, and they went to war together, and Gracewood thought that she died on the battlefield, where she did not actually die. She was severely injured, but she was restored by a family on the countryside. But she came back a year after her best friend and her brother and her sister-in-law thought that she was dead. And she showed up at her brother and her sister-in-law's house and was like, hey, it's me. I'm not dead, but I am being true to myself, and I'm a lady. Call me Viola. And they were just like, bet. Okay. I enjoyed this. I only gave it a 3.5 star. Let's start with that. But that is not to say that I did not actively enjoy this. I actively enjoyed the romance. I would say it was fairly slow burn. I mean, you would hope that it would be categorized as a slow burn for a 500-page romance novel. You know, I understand how important, like, the societal standards and everything were to the structure of the story. I personally didn't care. And I think that's why I've only given this a 3.5 star. I don't think that the historical aspect of it really did it for me. The language was interesting. It was something to kind of shake up my reading, and I enjoyed it. But all of the rules and the societal standards and, like, the structure of everything, like the structure of expectations and all that stuff, like, it just didn't do it for me, and it really slowed down the story. This was kind of like my first step into historical romance, and I don't think that it was exactly for me. But I enjoyed the romance aspect of it itself. I enjoyed the way that the trans representation was presented. I enjoyed Viola as a character a lot. I thought that she was really fun and interesting. I enjoyed Gracewood a lot. I thought that he was a really good love interest. He was interesting and complex and sweet. So, ultimately, I thought that it was interesting. I thought that it was fun. I think that my favorite characters were not the two main characters, though. I think that Viola's sister-in-law was incredible. She was chaotic and logical and snarky and interesting and really dynamic, and her relationship with her husband, Viola's brother, there were only like little bits and pieces of her relationship with him, but I thought that they were so sweet, and like I wanted a story with just them. I really love Justin's sister Mira. I thought that she was everything to function in the way that she wanted to, and she was really interesting, and she was not afraid to be her own person, and the kind of hints of the plotline of like she's interested in women, or she might be interested in both. She might be like bisexual, she might be a lesbian, she might be something, but she's just 17 and she doesn't know, and she's trying to figure it out in 1818 London in Northuldra. I think that there's a companion coming out of Mira's story. I hope there is, as she's like the eccentric aunt. So if her story comes out, I will certainly read it, because I'm more interested in her as a character. But I really genuinely did enjoy this. But it's time for me to move on to Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail by Ashley Herring Blake. And I don't have it next to me right now because it's in bed waiting for me. My bed is being preheated by my electric mattress pad. So Sadie and I, we're gonna go hop into bed with our preheated blankies and get comfy and start reading. Hello. I am currently 252 pages into Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail by Ashley Herring Blake. I enjoy this. I don't think that I enjoy it more than Delilah Green Doesn't Care. I think that Delilah Green had more of like an outside problem on top of everything else. Like, it was centered around her stepsister's wedding, and she has a bad relationship with her family, and, you know, there's a lot of like outer things happening in Delilah Green, and I feel like there are less outer things happening in this. That does not mean that I don't enjoy the premise of this. So there is this HGTV show called Inside America in this book, and it's basically a renovation show where this woman, Natasha, comes and oversees the renovation of classic American inns. And Prue, the owner of the only inn in this town, is renovating her inn because it's been failing. So her two grandchildren, Simon and Jordan, come to help. And Astrid, Delilah Green's stepsister, gets hired to come on as the local designer for the inn. And this is kind of like her big break. So this is really like her big chance to prove herself as a designer. Well, all does not go to plan. Like, it's not bad in any capacity. Like, I enjoy the writing, I enjoy the setting, I enjoy the dynamics, but I am more interested in their personal, like, individual story arcs than I am in theirs together, which I feel like kind of defeats the point of a romance a little bit. And you know, that wasn't the case with Delilah Green. I was really interested in Delilah and Claire as a unit, as their romance and all that fun stuff. So, still great characters. I don't know. I guess we'll see more. I've still got like 130 pages to go. So, we'll see how far I get tonight. Hello. So I have finally finished Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail by Ashley Herring Blake. And I feel like I have some thoughts. I have some feelings about it. I've spent the entire morning reading this, and I gave it 4 stars. Let's start there. I did give this 4 stars. I did enjoy this, but I did not enjoy it as I would normally a romance. I enjoyed it as more of like the story of these 2 people separately, Astrid and Jordan, rather than I enjoyed it as a romance between the 2 of them. Does that make any sense? I hope that makes sense. So when I read Delilah Green Doesn't Care, I loved it as a romance. I loved Claire and Delilah's romance. I thought they were so cute together. I thought they were so sweet together. I thought that the background scenario of what brought them together was cute. I thought that their big split moment was a good one, and one that I saw was reasonable in the moment, and one that I did see that you could come back from. It wasn't like one of those ones where it's like, why did you take her back? No, it was fairly reasonable. But this, I enjoy Astrid and Jordan together. My issue is not the fact that they are together. My issue is that I enjoyed the story as them as individuals more than I enjoyed the story of them coming together. I'm happy that they ended up together. I thought their ending scenes were cute. I thought their coupling scenes were cute. But Astrid totally has a breakdown. And I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil this, because I think that their, Astrid and Jordan's individual storylines are so interesting and so compelling and so fun to read that I don't want to spoil them, because we all know that in the end, they are going to end up together. That is not the question here. The question is, how do they get together, and what kind of growth do they go through to get there? And I think that their individual growth was really, really interesting. I think that the way Ashley Herring Blake wrote some of Astrid's scenes in particular really, really dismantled a lot of the childhood trauma and her insecurities and the things that she really needed to work on. And I do find that Jordan, towards the end, my original issue was I felt like Jordan was going back into relationships without learning to be just her own singular unit, and I feel like that was resolved fairly well. It definitely didn't spend a lot of time resolving that, maybe 50 pages at max. I think I would have preferred a little bit more time with Jordan, kind of understanding how to be her own person outside of a relationship. But that defeats the point, I guess. So overall, I found their romance to be slightly mediocre. I found them as characters to be interesting. So I'm giving this a 4-star because of them individually and not because of their romance. But I still enjoyed it. I still had a fun time reading it. And I really enjoyed the concept, and I really enjoyed Jordan coming into herself and kind of figuring out where her passions lied. And the same with Astrid. She really had to dismantle this expectation that was set upon her, and that she really kind of embraced wholeheartedly without even second guessing. And she really has to look at herself and be like, oh my god, what have I done? So yeah, I liked this. I don't know if I like Delilah Green or Astrid more as a story. I think because I read one of them more as a romance and this one not so much as a romance, it's hard to compare them. But I did really enjoy this, and I'm super excited for the next one. The next one is Iris Kelly Doesn't Date, and I'm so excited for Iris's story. I'm really going all out in these, let's just follow like these three people, these three like groups of women. I'm really enjoying that right now. So I'm excited for Iris Kelly to get her story, and I will definitely immediately buy it and read it, just as I did with this one. So yeah, we have finished up our queer-focused reading experience over the past 2 weeks. I got How to Excavate a Heart and Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail, and then I did Lady for a Duke. I enjoyed all of them. I think that I needed this, but I'm ready to head back into my fantasy world. I enjoyed my romance, my contemporary moment. I miss fantasy. I miss it so much. So I'm really excited to take everyone along with me as I head back into my high fantasy era. And yeah, I hope everyone has a really wonderful holiday season, no matter what you're doing. I will be doing nothing but reading in my hammock in my living room. So I will see everyone later. Bye.